right, here we go. Another week. Another week is coming. Is here. Week 6, week 7, week lucky 7. Will it be lucky for the Eagles and for a lot of teams? We'll see what happens. As you know, once again, I'm on a remote location this week, but not at a diner eating with my buddies. I'm at a special museum here in Southwest Philly, near the airport. A very famous race car driver will be here very soon to get an award and discuss her career. Obviously, that's something I kind of look forward to over the last couple of days, and I think I told you, Matt, Wednesday that something like this might happen, and that day is here.
Yeah, man.
But,
Yeah, well, we'll do a quick one then. If you want to do it real quick, we'll just go through. I'm not going to make a bunch of notes with stats and all that this weekend.
We'll look at it like this. I mean, we're going to go through them real quick. Obviously, we'll look at this way. We'll start with the games that we believe that won't have any. We believe will win, even though they may not, but we believe will win. So Chicago will beat the Saints.
Yep.
Kansas City will beat the Raiders.
Yeah, they will. And note on that, Rashee Rice is back from suspension. So for fantasy perspective, that's what I'm going to give you. So a little bit of fantasy notes on certain games.
New England will most likely beat the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, that should happen.
On that,
that should happen. Drake May's playing really well, and we'll see what happens. The Titans have already fired their head coach, Brian Callahan. Brian, he's gone. So we'll see what happens. Cam Ward's been awful to start his career, but maybe a new coach will help out.
Yeah. We probably are on the fence on the Jets and the Carolina, even though Carolina is on the road and the Jets are 0-6. The Jets are at home, and unlike 0-6 teams in the past, they're 0-16 that really shouldn't be. But I know you're going to pick Carolina, right?
Yeah, I'm not on the fence with that one. It's Carolina. The Jets are awful, but Carolina, they're not good either. But they're competitive, and they're winning some games here and there.
I'm picking the Jets in this one just because they're at home. They're close to winning. They're close to winning more than they've been getting blown out. It's one thing if you're getting blown out, you're 0-6, but here we'll see. We're on the fence of Miami and Cleveland, even though those are two bad teams.
I guess I got Miami. I mean, Cleveland is really bad, but for now, Miami's at least able to put some points up.
I'm going with Cleveland in because they're at home and their defense is great at home. So, I know you got rookie quarterback Dylan Gabriel, but why not?
You never know, but
could see a
I just think Miami's Yeah, well, Miami might be tearing that team apart in a week or so, but for now they still have the basis of a decent offense.
All right, so we'll start this tour with the London game, another London game tomorrow, but it's at least with two decent teams. Jacksonville obviously has been pretty good, even though they're coming off a tough loss against Seattle last Sunday. The Rams are coming off a win against the Ravens. It's an interesting matchup. Go to this quickly.
All right, yeah. So Jacksonville, first of all, they're used to playing in London, but they've been pretty good this year. The offense has been great, but it's gotten better over the weeks. The Rams are going to be missing Puka Nacua this week, so that's going to hurt big time. Look for a big game from Devontae Adams. But, yeah, I'm going to go with Jacksonville. West Coast team, This game starts at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, which means 6:30 a.m. on the West Coast. That's what they're used to. Playing out in London. Jacksonville is used to it. I'm going Jacksonville with a final score of, I'm going to say 29-20.
Yeah, at this point, I'm going to go with we'll go with Jacksonville as well, just because their defense is aggressive and the Rams haven't been the greatest this year. They're kind of like the Eagles, fiddle faddle. Could be better, but we'll see. So give me the Jags and the final score 27-22.
Okay.
All right. We're going to look at the two teams that have beaten the Eagles the last 2 weeks, and they're playing each other on Sunday. The Broncos are at home after, interesting road trip, beating the Eagles and then beating the Jets in London. But here they are back home, and they're playing the Giants, who have been really, really good with Jackson Dart here in these 3 starts, or at least 2 of the 3 starts. But signature wins. But can he get his first road win on Sunday? Go to this one.
Yeah, like you said, 2 of the 3 starts, and this last one against the Eagles, it was like their Super Bowl. This week's this week's going to be a tough one for them, going up against that Denver defense. I think Jackson Dart has a rough game. I think, who knows if Cam Scatterby, he might do okay, but I think Jackson Dart has a tough one. Denver wins this one with a final score of, I'll say, 27-17.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one. I mean, the Giants on the road have not yet shown anything compared to at home with Jackson. They played the Saints and they should have won that game, but they blew it. But obviously, we don't know the best of what this Giants team is, or it could be just because of the momentum. But it's been good so far. It's been positive so far. But Denver is one of the best defenses in the league. They'll get it together. Bo Nix and all of them. They're obviously are getting it together. So give me Denver as well, and the final score 24-17. All right, we're gonna go to a big matchup in Inglewood. Johnny B's Colts playing the other LA team. With the LA a few weeks ago, lost. Can they actually break and get a win in LA? But it will be interesting. They're playing the Chargers. Chargers are tough to deal with. Obviously, it will be an interesting matchup. We'll see what happens. But, go to this one, just as they call Indiana, win the big one, or do they fall again to a better team? Go ahead.
Yeah, Johnny BS and his Colts. They really don't have a. They got lucky against Denver. Otherwise, they've beaten a bunch of trash. This week is the beginning of their season, because going forward, I mentioned on Wednesday they actually play some legit playoff contenders, and the Chargers are one of those. They're solid, but they do have a ton of injuries. But it's in LA. It might be a close one with all those injuries for the Colts, but I'm going with the Colts, or with all the injuries to the Chargers, I'm going with the Chargers. So final score, I'm going to say 24-23.
Yeah, like I said, Johnny B will get himself going. He's been quiet here last couple of days, which is unlike him, but I expect him to get his Colts all round up here on Sunday. But yeah, this is a tough matchup. They're getting to the part of the schedule where we're going to know a lot about how good the Colts really are, especially knowing that they haven't played Jacksonville or Houston yet, and they're better defenses. So we'll see what happens here. But this is a tough matchup for the Colts. Back in LA, back there at that same stadium. This time you're playing the Chargers. Tough environment. We'll go with the Chargers too. Won't be an easy game. I think the Colts are better than what we're giving them credit for, but obviously against the better teams, they could be the 2023 as your favorite year, talking about the Eagles, the 2023 version of the Miami Dolphins, where they can play great, where they can beat a lot of bad teams up, but then they can look not as good or just not good enough to beat the better teams. So give me the Chargers in the final score 27-24.
All right.
All right, even though this is we didn't put this in our quick rapid fire. Green Bay is going out to Arizona. It's always odd to go out to Arizona because Arizona is an odd team, but this is always an odd environment for a road team. So you can go quickly to this matchup as Green Bay tries to protect their lead in the division.
I'm not gonna waste time on this one, man. Green Bay wins. Final score 31-20.
Yeah, at this point, I can't really look at Arizona as a threat. They kind of peaked, and that Tennessee loss is something that's going to haunt them for a little bit. So, give me Green Bay in the 30-20.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna keep it moving here quickly as we can. We're gonna go to the primetime games next. We'll do the Monday night ones first. We got two of them again, but they're decent matchups though, man. These are ones you probably want to watch, not just for your fantasy, but just for discussion on Wednesday. Tampa Bay is facing Detroit in the first game, and that's the Buck Aikman game. They will be in Detroit. Tampa Bay has won in Detroit last year, so this is kind of a revenge, but Detroit did beat them in the playoffs in 2023. Houston, coming off of a bye, is playing in Seattle. Always a tough environment, but Houston has the number one overall defense in the NFL, or at least in points allowed. But can they get their offense together? Because Seattle is a dangerous team. They can't. I think they could win the NFC West the way I've seen them play so far, but time will tell. So these two matchups you can go back to back on.
All right, back to back on them. Okay, so I'll go Houston, Seattle first. Houston's got a tough D, but their offense is not very good, man. That offensive line's horrible. Seattle has a tough D. It's in Seattle, and Seattle can actually put up points too. So they're going to win this one. I'll say final score 23 to 16. And just a minute ago, I realized I forgot to give you my lock of the week, which I was gonna say Miami plus 2.5, but I'm gonna make it this game here instead. I'm looking at Detroit, Tampa. Tampa's got a ton of injuries. I don't know if Mike Evans is playing or not, but even if he plays, they're down to the bare bones at their offensive skill positions. I mean, Bucky Irvin, Emeka Egbuka, Chris Godwin, Jalen McMillan, all of them are out, and possibly Mike Evans too. I know Baker Mayfield's playing at a high level, but he needs somebody to throw the ball to, and he's going up against a good team too in Detroit. Detroit is probably the best team on paper, the best team in the NFC right now. They're going to win this one. They're giving up 5.5, and that's my lock of the week is Detroit with the giving up 5.5. They're going to cover. Final score, I'll say 34-24.
Yeah, Houston, like I said, they're great defense, and I think it will be a low scoring game. And defense travels, as you know. It's going to be a low scoring battle in Seattle. But I know Seattle has been good, but I just think Houston, if they can get back into this, they're sneaky, man. Like you look at the AFC, it smells vulnerable with Buffalo losing the last couple of weeks. They're on a break this week, and other things. They're sneaky good defensively, and that's something you think, and that's something you think about. They're coming back into this. They're coming off of a bye. They have momentum. They've won their last two. I know Seattle is good as they've been, but it's hard to really put my stamp on them. So I'm going to go with Houston in the upset here. We'll go with Houston in the final score, 20-17. Now, as far as the Tampa Bay Lions game, like I said, Baker's going to be without any of his receivers, so they're going to have to run the ball, and Kate Otton's going to have a big game, in my opinion. So, but if you're thinking about it, Detroit is a tough place to play. and we've watched things go. So I'm going to go with the Lions as well. They're going to be in all black tomorrow on Monday night. So, black out in Detroit, better than a white out. I'll tell you that. You ask me. All right, but the final score, I'm going to go with Detroit and 40-23.
Yeah. Well, hey, one thing I was going to mention that with the Cade Otton is, last year when all those receivers were out, they still were moving the ball, and Cade Otton was the guy that stepped up big time. So if you had someone has a team out there that is weak at tight end, just pick up Cade Otton off the waiver wire. He's a good player this week.
Thank you for the fantasy discussion. All right. Now we're going to move to the Sunday night matchup. It's going to be interesting to see here the Falcons and the 49ers. I mean, Falcons coming off a big win, their biggest win of the season against Buffalo. They're not in first place no more. San Francisco has been, 4-2 with a lot of injuries, but can they keep the momentum going, or can Atlanta pull it off here? They have one win on Sunday night on the road. Can they get a second one?
All right. Yeah. Well, San Francisco is another team that has a ton of injuries. It finally caught up to them last week against Tampa. They're still a good team, man. They're still going to be tough no matter. Well, I shouldn't say no matter what. I mean, if we keep getting more injuries, they won't be that tough. But with Christian McCaffrey out there, they're still tough. Atlanta, yeah, they're good. They're good. They're a good, solid team, man. Michael Penix is starting to come into his own over these last couple of weeks, and I think he's going to have another big game here. So I'm going with Atlanta with a final score of 30-23.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the 49ers do. I mean, they'll have Mac Jones again under center, which has been good for them. But let's be honest, their injuries, the Fred Warner injuries, could be the death nail for their defense. You already lost Nick Bosa, so now you lost him for the season. This team, all you have left is basically Christian McCaffrey and a bunch of somebodies. So the Falcons, they're more healthier. They're going to make plays. Bijan Robinson is the best back in the league. He leads in scrimmage yards this year. Third in rushing. So my thing is I'm going to go with the Falcons. Give me the Falcons in the final score, 32-19.
All
right, we're going to go quickly because they're about to begin. Washington, Dallas, a big NFC East clash. Basically, for Dallas, if they have any thoughts of making the playoffs, this is a game they must win. They must win. While Washington continues to keep searching, coming off a tough loss on Monday night against the Bears. Can they get their act together and continue their pursuit in the NFC East? Both teams, obviously, everybody gunning, knowing how vulnerable the Eagles have been recently. Big matchup. Go ahead.
Yeah, this one could go either way, man. The NFC rivalry going on here. Washington, like you said, Jaden Daniels is back. They're coming back around. Gallup is getting their injured star back too, though, this week. CeeDee Lamb, he'll be playing. So we're looking at CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, who has stepped up big out there since that injury. It's a tough matchup, man. I'm going to have to give it to Washington. I'll say Washington with a final score in a shootout, 37-34.
Yeah, this is my game of the week here. I'm going to be real quick here. Dallas's defense is garbage, and we all know it. They can't stop you with a rush. They can't pick off a pass. They can't do nothing. Jaden Daniels is healthy again. He'll be moving the ball. He'll be running. He'll be throwing. We'll see what happens here. So, give me Washington and the final score, 40-30. 40-30 Washington. All right, one more game here. Eagles and the Vikings. The return of Carson Wentz. That's all. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, it's not quite the return of Carson Wentz because it's not in Philly, but it's, he's playing his former team. And we got that matchup, Carson Wentz lost the franchise quarterback position to Jalen Hurts, who has gone on to win a Super Bowl. This is gonna be a tough one, man. The Eagles just haven't played well lately, and the Vikings have that tough defense. Wentz isn't very good, let's be honest, but they do have a tough D, and the Eagles offense hasn't moved the ball, and the Eagles defense is banged up. Hate to do it, but I'm going to go with the revenge for Carson Wentz here in a tight one. I'll say 27-26 Vikings.
Wow. When I think of this matchup, it's hilarious, but I think if they lose this game, it's rock bottom for this season as far as we got to clean our act up because we just lost to our own quarterback, and that's really bad. But I know the Eagles' history. They don't lose to their backup to quarterbacks that they had. I mean, yeah, McNabb beat us at home once, but as a Washington guy, but let's be honest. Carson Wentz is still stiff. Still see him play. He can take a lot of sacks and a lot of hits, like he did here in Philly the last couple of years. And I think even though the Eagles' defense isn't healthy right now and not what they need, they'll get their act together. And I think Hurts will get his act together with the receivers and everything. And I'll even say Saquon will go for one run, big run. So even though I think I'm nervous about this game, I'm not panicking either. I think the Eagles are going to find a way in the second half to pull this off. I think the Vikings will start off strong, but the Eagles will turn it around here. They know what's up. They don't want to lose this division. They don't want to lose any more ground. So give me the Birds. I'm going to get you. Final score 33-27.
Okay.
All right, that's all we have. I'm going to get on out of here. Thanks for joining me on this quick thing, and I will talk to you on. You'll be on Wednesday, right or no?
No. This is my last show for like 2 weeks. I'll be out of town.
All right. Well, have a good vacation in Thailand. Just join me, Kwame, and a special guest on Wednesday. We will have a special guest.
Yeah, Johnny B will be on.
Happens. All right.
All right.
What? Well, we'll see. All right. You have a good vacation, and I'm heading on out.
All right. See you, man.
Yep.